In this video, we're covering the physical function and testing of proximity switches on desktop tools shipped prior to August of 2017. First, we would like to cover the function of the x-axis proximity switch, which is the gantry section of the tool. We can find the switch just directly under the left side of the rail, and we can see the copper-clad switch with the white connector and the gray switch itself. The white connector just connects with a copper-clad plate via two pins. Those pins connect through to the white and brown cables, which are the power and the signal wires. The switch itself is just this gray connector here with the little black piece that you might be able to see there. That little black piece is actually a physical button. Now, if we push down on that physical button and we hold it in, we should see the input in the software associated with this proximity switch light up. So if I push this button and we check the software, we should see input 3 light up. Going over to the software, we can see input 3 in the red window. That's that second light green light we see there. There's input 3 lit up. I'm going to release the switch here. Release and push it in. We can see the light flicker on and off whenever we release and push it back in. We can return to our overall view of the tool and now address the Y proximity switch, which is on the front left side of the tool under the rail. These get triggered by the bearing blocks that travel along those rails as they reach the end of the rail. So again, we have the switch with the white connector. Now if we remove the white connector here just for a second and pause, we can see the two pins for this switch. Now if you were to test this switch now, and you had a multimeter, it's very easy to put the multimeter in continuity mode. We can test each switch individually. These switches are normally open, so if you put your meter in continuity mode and you put one probe on each pin, while the switch isn't triggered, you should have no continuity, and if you push this button in while you have the probes on each pin, you should get a beep for continuity. Similarly, resistance, you can measure between these two probes and find zero resistance when the switch is pushed in, and when you release the switch, you should find infinity resistance. If you were to replace the switch, replacing the switch is just as easy. The switch mounts via superglue, and it's very easy to remove using acetone. If you ever need to replace them, it's smart to mark the physical location of the switch with some pencil or some marker to know where to mount the new switch when you replace it. So clean up the surface and remove it with some acetone. Clean it up so it's smooth. Let it dry and reinstall the new switch with some superglue in the same spot that the last one had been removed from. We'll go ahead and plug this connector back in, and we'll test the physical function of this switch. Once again, if we just push down on this black piece and we come over to the software, we can see input 3 turning on and off when we push the switch. And that covers the physical function of our proximity switches on a desktop tool. You should have one on your X and Y axis, and you may have one on the Z. We covered both the X and Y in this video.